Honor, they can dress this up all they want. But the fact is, the deceased entered into a contract in bad faith by claiming she was no longer a smoker.
The only fact here is that they're manufacturing a reason to weasel out of a legitimate claim.
You can tell the court that we manufactured this picture of your client smoking 8 months ago?
I'm well aware of the photo that you sent a grieving husband. But an image of a woman not inhaling a cigarette doesn't prove anything.
She lied on her application.
Which had nothing to do with how she died.
The manner of death isn't at issue here. The contract is.
He's got a point.
Your Honor, they're claiming that my client entered into a policy in bad faith. What kind of faith is it when a company pours through a woman's social media history just to stick it to her grieving husband and 3 children?
Better faith in a man that pretended to be an attorney for the better part of 3 years.
What are you talking about?
Your Honor, this is Mr. Ross's Harvard diploma. The only problem is Mr. Ross never actually went to Harvard. The only place he did graduate from was Danbury Federal Prison, where he spent time for impersonating a lawyer.
All right, that is inadmissible and irrelevant.
You're claiming bad faith. Your whole life is bad faith. I think a jury should have a chance to hear that.
Your Honor, this
Your motion to dismiss is denied, Mr. Ackerman, but Mr. Ross, I am inclined to agree that your history is relevant to this case, which means if he wants to bring it up at trial, I'm not stopping him.
You wanted to talk to me?
We'll give it away. The 9 texts or the 16 messages?
I was on a plane.
Yeah, well, I'm in your old office wondering why you even gave it to me if you're not gonna let me make simple personnel decisions.
Mike, if you let this asshole bully you, you're gonna be backing down for the rest of your life.
I'm not backing down. I am buying time so that I can stop this bullshit from ever happening again.
You don't need time. I have a way. Stop apologizing and start intimidating.
Well, that's a hell of a slogan, Harvey, but what does it actually mean?
It means you go out, you find a reporter, and you take control of the narrative. Instead of a lying fraud, you're a hero fighting for redemption.
I don't have time to change my image. Look, if I lose this case, the only article that's gonna get written is that I never should have been able to practice law in the first place.
Yeah, well, if you can't figure out a way to win without Rachel's help, then maybe I shouldn't have brought you back in the first place, because I've had about enough of having every employee I have question every decision I make.
I'll get that.
Keep your money, Mr. Ross. You're gonna need it.
I think after you see this, you're gonna want to save every nickel you have. Thanks. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that's a memo between Acumen Senior Management and their sales force outlining their policy of doing whatever it takes to avoid paying claims.
Wow, this thing can be interpreted a dozen different ways. It doesn't prove a thing.
It proves that we're not just talking about my client anymore. You're looking at a class action. And if there's one thing a jury hates more than a fake lawyer, it's an insurance company that rips off widowers and children.
What do you want?
50 million, with an admission of guilt.
No way, they won't go for admission.
Okay, here's what you're gonna do instead. A reporter's gonna call you. And when he does, you're gonna tell him the story of how you thought you were gonna wipe the floor with this fraudulent attorney, but instead you ended up praying that you never go up against him again.
You knew they wouldn't go for admission. You set me up.
Well, now that you mention it, I did. And that's take it or leave it.
Then I guess I'll take it and leave out the part where you traded admission of guilt in exchange for self-promotion.
Don't you dare say that to me. I'm not doing this for myself. I'm doing it so that pieces of shit like you never try to use my history against my clients again.
And how'd it go?
Out of the park. Got everything we wanted.
What do you say we go out and celebrate tonight?
Well, we're celebrating, but we're not going out.
What do you mean?
A reporter from the Times is going to be here in 5 minutes.
Okay.
We are doing an interview. The redemption of a fraudulent lawyer.
Well, that is the best news I've heard since finding out you got into the bar.
Thank you.
But I think you should do it without me.
Rachel, I couldn't have done any of this without you.
And that may be true, but this is your story, and you should be the one to tell it. Go. I'll see you at home.
David Garoni.
Good to meet you.
Where do you want to do this? I was thinking maybe your new office.
Yeah, we could end up there. I was thinking maybe we'd start out where I started out,
Where's that?
in the bullpen.
Donna?
Rachel, can I get you to anything? Coffee, tea, a copy of your article in the Sunday Times?
Don't need it. Read it yesterday. Have one at home.
And by one, he means 10.
Are you sure you don't want to take just one more look at it?
I'm good. Thanks, Donna.
Okie dokie. You have a nice day.
Something's going on with her, I can tell.
What do you mean?
You telling me you didn't notice that grin on her face?
Rachel, you've known Donna longer than I have, but I didn't see a grin. I'm telling you, I think you're imagining it.
Right. Totally imagined it. Harvey?
Rachel, you know, black can be slimming. Something to think about next time.
I take it this is your way of apologizing for saying you never should have hired me back?
And it gave me a chance to say the slimming thing. Sorry, Mike.
You had a point, Harvey. It's the Radiant Technologies merger.
Yep. Back to one for me.
Great, except you don't need me for this. Deal's done. They sign tomorrow.
Which is why Klein Robinson thought that I wouldn't mind if they put a few last-minute changes in the contract.
And a few last-minute changes means they're trying to pull some last-minute bullshit.
Now that sounds like the impressive young lawyer I read about in the article. Why don't you figure out what they're trying to do and get it done by lunch?
Who says I need slimming?
I read your interview yesterday. And my son was in prison too. But unlike you, he didn't make it out.
Says your son died of a heart attack.
Yes. A heart attack out of nowhere.
You think they're hiding something?
Well, they won't take my calls or answer my letters. What would you think?
I think that there might be something wrong, but that doesn't mean that there is.
Mr. Ross, my son was 28 years old. He was up for parole next month. There's something they're not telling me.
All right, I'll look into it. But I'm not gonna be able to get to this for a few days.
A few days. Well, why can't you start now?
Because I have a deal with my firm that allows me to do cases like this, but not only cases like this. And right now, I'm in the middle of something else.
Mr. Ross, the last lawyer I talked to said there was some kind of a statute that says I only have another 2 weeks to file a lawsuit.
And I'm telling you, 2 weeks should be more than enough time, but I can't drop everything just to take your case.
I understand. But Chris was caught with an ounce of marijuana. He never should have been there in the first place. And if time runs out on this, and I couldn't get him justice.
Okay. I'll see what I can do.